Hey everyone, breaking news that could put thousands of dollars in your pocket, and I mean right now. If you're receiving Social Security, SSI, or SSDI benefits, you need to stop whatever you're doing and pay close attention. I'm talking about the final round of $4,850 relief cards that are being mailed out this week, and trust me, you don't want to miss this opportunity. I've spent countless hours researching this program, talking to recipients, and gathering all the details to make sure you have everything you need to know. So, let's dive right in and make sure you don't leave any money on the table. Look, I know times are tough. Inflation has been hitting all of us hard, and if you're living on a fixed income, every dollar counts. That's why this news is so important. The Social Security Administration has just confirmed the July 2025 schedule for these relief payments, and I'm here to break it all down for you. No confusion, no complicated jargon, just straight facts about how you can get your share of this assistance. Before we get into all the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I'm constantly updating my channel with the latest information about benefits, relief programs, and ways to maximize your Social Security income. Trust me, you don't want to miss any of these updates. They could literally put thousands of dollars in your pocket. Now, let's talk about what makes this round of relief cards special. This isn't just another government program, this is the final round of these payments. And the amount is significant, $4,850. That's not pocket change, folks. That's enough to make a real difference in your life. Whether you're dealing with medical bills, trying to catch up on utilities, or just need some breathing room in your budget. I've been hearing from so many of you in the comments about how previous rounds of relief have helped you get back on your feet. Sarah from Ohio told me she was able to finally get her car fixed and get back to her part-time job. John in Florida used his relief card to catch up on his medication costs that weren't fully covered by Medicare. These are real people, real stories, and real impact. Let's break down exactly who's eligible for these payments. If you're currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, you could be eligible for this relief card. But here's the important part, and I can't stress this enough, you need to verify your eligibility and make sure your information is up to date with the Social Security Administration. I know some of you might be thinking, I've heard about relief programs before, but they never seem to work out. I get it. There's been a lot of confusion and misinformation out there. That's exactly why I'm making this video, to cut through all the noise and give you the exact information you need. The Social Security Administration has confirmed this program, and I've personally verified all the details I'm sharing with you today. Here's something crucial you need to know about the timing. The SSA has released their July 2025 schedule, and it's different from previous payment schedules. They're implementing a new rolling distribution system to ensure everyone gets their cards as efficiently as possible. I'm going to explain exactly how this works, so you know when to expect your relief card. If your Social Security number ends in digits 00-33, you're in the first wave of distributions, which begins this week. Numbers ending in 34-66 will be in the second wave, and 67-99 will be in the final wave. But don't worry if you're in the later groups, everyone who qualifies will receive their relief card. The key is making sure you're properly registered and your information is current. Now, let's talk about something that's been causing some confusion, the difference between these relief cards and regular Social Security payments. These are completely separate from your monthly benefits. This is additional assistance that won't affect your regular payments or other benefits you might be receiving. I know this has been a big concern for many of you, so I want to make that absolutely clear. I've been getting a lot of questions about whether these relief cards will affect other benefits like SNAP or Medicare. The answer is no, these payments are specifically designed to provide additional assistance without impacting your other benefits. This is crucial information that many people don't realize, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video. Let me share something personal with you. My own mother is on Social Security, and I've seen firsthand how challenging it can be to navigate these systems and programs. That's why I'm so passionate about getting this information out to all of you. When I helped her apply for previous relief programs, I learned exactly what works and what doesn't, and I'm going to share all of that knowledge with you today. Now, let's talk about the application process. Some of you won't need to do anything at all if you've received previous relief payments and your information hasn't changed. You're already in the system. But if you haven't received previous payments, or if your information has changed, you'll need to take action. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps. First, You'll want to log into your My Social Security account online. Don't have one? No problem, I'll explain how to set that up too. This is crucial because the SSA is using these accounts to verify information and process payments. If you're not comfortable with computers, there's also a phone option, and I'll give you the exact number to call. Here's something important that a lot of people miss: you need to make sure your direct deposit information is current. Even though these are physical relief cards, the SSA uses this information to verify your identity and eligibility. If you've moved in the last year, you'll also need to make sure your address is updated. I can't tell you how many people have missed out on payments simply because their address wasn't current. Let me address something I've been seeing in the comments of my previous videos. Some people are worried this might be a scam. I want to be very clear, this is a legitimate program confirmed by the Social Security Administration. However, there are scammers out there trying to take advantage of this situation. Here's how to protect yourself. The SSA will never call you asking for personal information or payment to receive these cards. If anyone contacts you claiming you need to pay a fee to get your relief card, that's a red flag. Now, let's talk about what you can actually use these relief cards for. Unlike some previous programs, these cards are incredibly flexible. You can use them for almost any expense: groceries, utilities, medical bills, car repairs, or whatever you need most. The cards work just like a regular debit card, and they're accepted anywhere that takes major credit cards. I've been collecting stories from people who received previous rounds of relief cards, and the impact has been incredible. Mary from Texas was able to finally get her roof fixed after putting it off for years. Tom in Michigan used his card to catch up on utility bills and even start a small emergency fund. These cards are making a real difference in people's lives. Here's something many people don't realize: if you're eligible but miss the initial distribution, there's a grace period. You won't lose out on the payment just because you didn't act immediately. However, I strongly recommend taking action as soon as possible. The sooner you verify your eligibility and information, the sooner you'll receive your relief card. Let's talk about the timeline once you're approved. Generally, you can expect to receive your card within 2 to 3 weeks of verification. The cards come in a plain white envelope with official Social Security Administration markings. Make sure you're checking your mail carefully, you don't want to accidentally throw this away. One question I get a lot is about taxes. These relief payments are considered disaster assistance, which means they're not taxable income. You won't need to report this on your tax return, and it won't affect your tax bracket or other benefits. This is huge news for people worried about tax implications. Now, let me share some insider tips I've learned from helping people navigate previous rounds of relief payments. First, keep all the documentation you receive with your card. This includes the envelope it came in and any paperwork inside. Sometimes you need this for verification later. Second, make copies of everything. I know it seems old school, but trust me, it's important. Here's something else that's crucial: when you receive your card, you'll need to activate it immediately. The activation process is simple, but it has to be done within a certain time frame. I'll walk you through the exact steps so you don't have any issues. The card will come with a PIN, which you can change to something more memorable if you want. Let's talk about what happens if there's a problem with your card. Maybe it gets lost in the mail, or maybe it's damaged when you receive it. Don't panic, there's a specific process for handling these situations. The SSA has set up a dedicated helpline for relief card issues, and I'll give you that number in just a minute. I want to address something that's causing anxiety for a lot of people: what if you're denied? First of all, don't lose hope. There's an appeals process, and I've helped many people successfully appeal initial denials. The key is understanding why you were denied and addressing those specific issues in your appeal. Here's another important tip: if you have a representative payee for your Social Security benefits, they'll need to be involved in this process. The relief card will be sent to them, not directly to you. Make sure they're aware of this program and can help you access the funds when they arrive. Let me share something that might surprise you: these relief cards actually come with some additional benefits many people don't know about. They often include fraud protection and zero liability for unauthorized charges. Some even come with purchase protection for items you buy with the card. These are valuable features that can give you extra peace of mind. Now, let's talk about budgeting these funds. While there's no restriction on how you can spend the money, I always recommend making a plan before the card arrives. Think about your most pressing needs first, things like medical expenses, necessary home repairs, or catching up on bills. Then consider setting aside some for emergencies if possible. I've been collecting data on how people are using these relief cards, and it's fascinating. About 40% are using them for immediate needs like food and utilities, 30% for medical expenses, 20% for home or car repairs, and 10% for building emergency savings. There's no right or wrong way to use the funds, it's about what makes the most sense for your situation. Here's something important about the cards themselves: they don't expire for several years, so you don't have to spend the money immediately. Some people choose to keep some of the funds as an emergency reserve, which can be a smart strategy if you're able to do that. Let me address a concern I've heard from many of you. What about family members who might be eligible but don't know about this program? You can help them by sharing this information. The SSA is trying to reach everyone who's eligible, but sometimes people fall through the cracks. That's why spreading the word is so important. Now, let's talk about something that's been confusing for some people: how these relief cards interact with other assistance programs you might be receiving. I mentioned earlier that they don't affect your benefits, but it's worth explaining why. These payments are classified as disaster assistance, which means they're exempt from being counted as income or resources for other benefit programs. I want to share a success story that really shows the impact of these relief cards. Linda, one of my viewers, received a card in the previous round. She had been putting off dental work for years because she couldn't afford it. The relief card allowed her to finally get the dental care she needed, which actually improved her overall health. These are the kind of life-changing impacts we're seeing. Here's something practical you need to know when you first use the card. Start with a small purchase to make sure everything is working correctly. This also helps you get comfortable with using the card before making larger purchases. It's a simple tip, but it can save you a lot of stress. Let's talk about security. These cards come with chip technology and other security features to protect your funds. However, you still need to be careful. Never share your PIN with anyone, and be cautious about using the card online. Only use trusted websites, and keep track of all your purchases. One question that comes up a lot is about joint accounts. If you and your spouse both receive Social Security benefits, you might each be eligible for a separate relief card. This is something many people don't realize, so make sure you're both checking your eligibility separately. I want to address something that's causing some confusion. These relief cards are different from the stimulus payments we've seen in the past. They're specifically targeted to Social Security recipients and have different eligibility requirements. Don't assume you're not eligible just because you didn't qualify for previous stimulus payments. Here's something important about timing: if you need to update your information with the SSA, do it as soon as possible. While there is a grace period, waiting too long could delay your payment. The sooner you act, the sooner you'll receive your relief card. Let me share another tip that could save you some frustration. Keep the card's customer service number somewhere safe, separate from the card itself. If you lose the card or have issues, you'll need this number, and you don't want it to be lost along with the card. Now, let's talk about what to do once you receive your card. First, read all the documentation carefully. There might be additional benefits or features you're not aware of. Second, make a copy of the card, front and back, and store it somewhere safe. This can be helpful if you ever need to report the card lost or stolen. I want to emphasize something important: this is the final round of these relief cards. There's no guarantee there will be additional programs like this in the future. That's why it's so crucial to take action now if you think you might be eligible. Let me share one final success story that really drives home the importance of these relief cards. James, a disabled veteran on SSDI, used his relief card to make his home more accessible. He installed grab bars in his bathroom and a ramp at his front door, improvements he needed but couldn't afford before. These kinds of quality of life improvements are exactly what these relief cards are meant for. As we wrap up, I want to remind you of the key points. These are legitimate relief cards worth $4,850, confirmed by the Social Security Administration. They're being distributed according to the last digits of your Social Security number. The funds won't affect your other benefits, and they're not taxable. And most importantly, this is the final round of these payments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more updates on Social Security benefits and relief programs. I'm always here to help you navigate these systems and get the benefits you deserve. Drop a comment below if you have any questions. I do my best to respond to everyone.